everybody. This is Love from Above with your Sibling Spirit Guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
Hey Maureen, hey everyone, this is Brian.
Oh my gosh, we're so happy to be here, if you can believe it. On this podcast, we share daily channelings we receive from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And Brian, I'm going to tell you, I think this is one of the most uplifting, positive podcasts we've done. It's all about pets. Angels are telling us to not worry and relax. Who doesn't want to hear about pets and angels?
Absolutely, yeah. It's so I think there's enough negative news out there. We would try and be positive as we always do, and I think this is, glad to share this one with everyone.
Yeah, yeah. So I'll kick us off. This was from January 16th of 2025. It's a message about pets and birds. It begins by saying, "We are most watchful as our dearest daughter travels throughout our beloved lands." For those of you who don't know, I travel the world continually as a nomad. There are many who wonder at the outlets that may be attained by traveling near our ancient sites. Imagine you were to exit through a doorway. There would be the sensation of touching the door handle, walking through the portico. These faint images can repeat if the sensation is strong enough. Most fail to recognize the telltale signs of our previous signatures, but some may readily sniff the air, liken to one of your animals, and recognize our previous signature. There's not much to connect with many of your assumed power sources as the energetic codes have been corrupted, but other sites, sacred sites, less known to humankind, offer offer a reverberance of energetic tendencies. And you know what I think? I got to stop there, Brian. You know what I think of is the Great Pyramid in Giza. I don't remember where I read it, but actually, when I went to the Great Pyramid the first time, one of the guards said, do you want to slip me $20 and I'll kick everybody out of the pyramid so you can meditate? Which, why did he stop me and not everybody else who was going through? But I was like, no, I don't want you to kick everybody out of the pyramid. But I had read that because there's been some stuff done, magic done in the Great Pyramid, that it has been kind of corrupted over time, and that it's also not aligned correctly as when it was originally built. So it doesn't, even if you go there with the attention to, do some beautiful magic for yourself or meditation for yourself, it doesn't offer the same opportunities as it did 25,000 years ago when it was first built. Have you
And
heard the same?
yeah, you're right. I think we have read that over time. I don't know if it's shifts in Earth or that the way it was it was exactly chamber that was the energy would come through the top, um and it's not aligned anymore, and it's missing. Yeah, you're right. I don't know about the negative piece, but I know, yeah, it doesn't have the power that it once had. But what about other places? Because I know you're probably, it says most fail to recognize the telltale signs of our previous signatures, and I probably fall into that category. But do you, um, I know you've been places where maybe you've picked up on the energy in a ancient site, right?
You know where the I've seen the most amount of energy, and this should not be a big surprise, is in Jerusalem, where there's the Wailing Wall for the Jews. The top is sacred for uh, Islam. That's where Muhammad came on Barak and um, for his night ride, the Temple Mount, and it's also sacred for Christians. Um, and that site, the energy at that site is just amazing because you've got the three of the major religions of the world. This very site is super sacred, and it's that Wailing Wall is open, I think, 24/7. And I mean, there's always people there. There's always people there, bowing and praying. And that is the most significant site energetically that I've seen. But yeah, I mean, that's my goal in traveling is I want to see these sacred sites and I want to connect to them. And I don't know what kind of power is going on there, but I do think that there is something that happens to you, or that's what I assume when you're going to all of these sacred sites. And I've been blessed to go to like literally hundreds of them. So I'm very fortunate, I know.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go in the second part of this message, same date, but they go on to say there are many who come forward and offer the solicitous advice if you take the time to listen. It's likened to be in a crowded train station. Which voice do you listen to? We speak now on the animals which you hold so dear with your familial abodes. These members of a devoted family often serve an important purpose. They are repositories of gentle love, for the love that a pet shows its owner is always devotional in the same way that our love for humankind is purely devotional as well. The bonds between humans and their loved ones as pets was forged long ago. These tenuous ties have built over the ages, and now many could be called living familiars for their tendency to enact their master's beloved wishes. We too engage with the animal kind, however, not in the pet variety of humans. We utilize flying creatures who more clearly resemble our natural capacities. They aid us in our work in surmising the conditions on your loving planet. They are likened to a warning system enacted by one of your alarms. They alert us if the greater attention, if greater detail attention is required by our loving natures. We do so appreciate the loving ways of our bird companions. That is all. So yeah, a couple of things. I mean, of course, pets. We have a little dog that everyone in our family loves and provides a lot of love. But it's interesting because we've always, known about the that birds have some special capabilities, but that they are sort of the warning system and to let them know where there's attention required by uh, these these spirit beings. So I don't think I've heard that exact thing before. Did you know that at the way they mention it?
No, but I mean that's amazing. That's amazing. And as for the pets, I will tell you, I'm a person who haven't I would say most of my adult life I have not had pets, but when I have, it's been at crucial junctures in my life, and I know that so I'm a cat person, and I know those cats are doing something. I just really believe this, that they're doing something like magical, like energetically. And it's always been at times where I've really needed a lot of love. And so, yeah, I mean, I definitely think that it's interesting about pets and birds. Yeah, that's really, really, really interesting because you think about a bird is watching you I mean, birds are watching us all the time. You know what I mean? So they're like the alarm system for the angels, apparently, to let them know when, we need more assistance.
Yeah, absolutely. It is interesting, and I know some people believe that that they get messages from birds from people that have passed away in their life or something like that, or they see certain types of birds, or I don't. There's all sorts of different theories, but it is fascinating to know that they're connected and provide that warning system if someone needs some help. So I think it's great.
Yeah. So then I'll go on to the next message, which was just 3 days later. And it's angels say, don't worry. Okay. Like, how many times do we receive these messages? But guess what? We need to hear it again. And everybody else, I'm sure, needs to hear it again anyway. But anyway, the angel said, who shall win this round? They're laughing. I put in there, it's a joke. Everyone wins, for there are no winners or losers. Those are temporal graduations fixed on by your puny minds. Expand, and all comes into grasp. You fail to see the meaning of our message. Wait one moment and we shall convene. So I love this. They take a break, and I had no idea what they were talking about. And they come back with a
Well,
better
it's because of your
analogy.
puny minds, you know. I love this little slams in there, but it's funny. I'm sure to us we're so, basic and there's so much more to life that we can't see. But anyway, I love it. Go ahead.
I also, too, in their defense, like, so many of these words, like, and Brian, because you listen to the recordings, like a lot of times I'll be really struggling to find the word because it's not a word that I is normally in my vocabulary. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt that, maybe they don't fully realize what puny means or but anyway, so then they go on to give this great analogy. They say the temperature gradient used by your Fahrenheit and Celsius. Picture this in your mind. This is the graduations of which we speak. Some prefer the temperature to be warmer, others cooler. But is there a right or wrong temperature? No. The temperature is the temperature. If you live in Alaska, 50 degrees might be temporal, warm, pleasant. If you live in the Bahamas, 50 degrees might be catastrophically cold. Now you see the impossibility of assigning meaning to the temporal graduations. Relax the mind. We ask you to cast aside your ignorant worries. We watch over you with immense care. Brian, gosh, we need to hear this again and again, right?
Right. Right. Yeah, absolutely. But the one thing, so then they go on to say, you see our gaiety countenances. And I'm like, okay. I mean, yeah, sometimes they do. So I actually Googled that and it said defined as faces that express happiness, delight, or excitement. So we would we would not normally say, Maureen, I do appreciate your gaiety countenance today, but it's funny. The language is somewhat sometimes some of these beings talk in very
Yeah.
elaborate words.
Yeah. So they went on. So this was a night, and I was telling Brian this. Like, I got a message, an email, and it was kind of frightening, and it frightened me. It scared me. And so this is why the angel swooped in, and they said, "Darling daughter, we ask that you do this for us and visualize your concerns and transfer them to a giant garbage bag. Pack it up with everything that causes you worry, fear, or concerns and worries, and give it to us. There is nothing else that needs to be accomplished. We delight in whisking away your concerns to attend to these grievous matters. We ask that you set the example of living carefree and joyous lives." Boy, and I'll tell you, Brian, that really made me feel so much better. And I love that visualization of just taking all the crap, the worries, the fears, and concerns and just stuffing a garbage bag full of it and just being like, yeah, here, angels, take good care of this. So, that really is meaningful to me. What about for you?
Right, absolutely. And that's, I was telling you, I've read a similar book that was just talking about the same sort of thing, that there's nothing to worry about, that you create your own reality. And if there's something that's negative, first of all, I mean, you created it, but then just, ask those above to help you with the situation. There's nothing you should ever really need to worry about. And so I think that's the example that, like you said, living carefree and joyous lives is it's not always easy with life, but it's important to sort of step back and think about this message and sort of it when something happens, um, have it really not impact you in a way and be able to, you know, put it on those above to deal with and not worry about it. And it sounds, it sounds may be hard for people to conceptualize, but I mean, I think that this is something if you do that you'll find it's a very effective.
Yeah, and the other thing I want to mention is this, I think, really significant message that came in this week from Archangel Gabriel. And Archangel Gabriel gave us a homework assignment that we have to embody that the one creator lives and breathes through us. So if you really think about that, if the one creator lives and breathes through us, like, would you have any worries? Would you have any fears? Would you have any concerns? No, you wouldn't, because the one creator lives and breathes through you. So, yeah, I mean, I've really been thinking about that a lot during the day, and it's been really transformational for me. And I'll tell you, the biggest thing that I feel is so much gratitude, just so much gratitude. Um, but what have you thought about that recent message that we got from Archangel Gabriel?
Yeah, it's a similar. I have the same exact thing that the gratitude and just having a gratitude practice and everything is you know working out perfectly for us as we expect, and so I love it. So yeah, that's another great message.
Yeah, so I'll go on with the closing, which is yet another message. Let's hear it again and again and again. There's nothing to worry about. Relax. The message for today is to relax once more. We provide this encouragement for there is much to do in your daily lives, but the true act of surrender is rarely accomplished. Okay, I gotta stop there, Brian, because that, I mean, the true act of surrender, that's the key, right? I mean, I think we talked that about that on recent podcasts, like that, or maybe even the last podcast about, if you can surrender, the keys of the kingdom are given to you, right?
Yes, and but there's always it's not easy to do. It's always usually hit when people are like rock bottom. They're like, okay, I surrender. There's nothing. I give up. That's when they have a huge breakthrough. But it shouldn't have to be that way. It should be a bit, just surrender, and know that I'll be taken care of for you.
Right. So they go on to say, surrender to enjoy that sip of coffee, to caress your loved one, being fully present to engage with a child or a familiar pet. These are the moments you shall miss when you pass from this realm. You shall not miss organizing your closet, moving your mutual funds, casting a vote in an electoral race. In this way, it is good to develop a longer view of examining your life from a wider perspective so that you may engage with what really matters. Once again, we see you grasp the meaning of our message. We move on. Our final message is with regards to the love of the internal self. This self is rarely examined in your present culture. People often engage with professionals or trusted loved one to look inside and marvel at the interior realms, which are usually darkened. We say, open thyself up to marvel at the glory and the ultimate divine presence that illuminates all from within. That's so beautiful because, a lot of us don't want to look at our crap. We don't want to look at our crap. And they're saying that what you think is crap is just actually the ultimate divine presence. It's so beautiful.
Yeah, that there's a lot. I mean, there's so much going on there, but um, it's another great message that we don't really look internally to the internal self. And um, I said, like I said, people often engage with professionals, which, you don't need to do that. I mean, so anyway, I think it's a great message, um, to open thyself up to the divine presence that illuminates all from within. So, um, yeah, so these, I just think these are just, all the messages are always so positive, but I would love when they're just, you know, uh, have so much hope and positivity that I think all of us can really learn from, and I hope that everyone enjoyed this one.
Yeah, and I have to tell you, we're coming up to a year in February of putting these podcasts out. And, I'm just feeling so grateful at this time because, when these podcasts, we just get so much information, and when they come in, I have to tell you, I don't really listen to them a lot. And it's the act of doing these podcasts that like it really resonates with me. So I'm just really grateful. I mean, hopefully everybody who listens get as much out of it as we do, but it's been a beautiful journey, right, Brian?
Absolutely. Can you believe episode 50? And again, I go back, I think our friend Terry told us that the most podcasts, I can't remember it now, but it was less than 20 or some most podcasts last less than 20 episodes. And so we're at 50. We haven't missed a week. Every week we've typically we try and drop them on Wednesday. Sometimes it's Thursday, but usually we're pretty good about getting a podcast out every Wednesday. So I think that's been with everything that's going on in both our lives to be able to make this happen. I think it's been an amazing journey, and yeah, we're coming up on 1 year in 2 weeks, so it's going to be amazing.
So are you like me that you don't really like I like I actually I need these podcasts to kind of like assimilate the information and like have it come into me in a deeper way. Is it the same for you?
Yeah, but a little more like every day I try and look at the message and then so then the ones that I think s- from there I try and um, make note of certain things or themes and things like that, and also try and make note of ones I might want to use in a future episode. But keep in mind, also, not pretty soon. We're still wrapping up. We still have some more work to do, but we're still wrapping up the volume 1 of all these channelings that will be out in
Yeah, which is
sometime
just
next year.
amazing. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just amazing. It just all the different beings who are coming through, and it's just the messages. It's really, really amazing. So we're grateful. So thank you everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you again next week.
Bye, everyone.